We have an understanding with each other, don't we? We don't argue. We don't second guess. There's no conflict. We think and we act in agreement, always. That's what makes us so unique. That's what makes us so dangerous. That's what always gets the job done.
Shawn Spears? Oh, my God!
I can only relate it to what I assume a surgeon feels like when they pick up the scalpel for the very first time.
When the path for MJF and Jericho was laid out by MJF, he said it was akin to the labors of Hercules, that Jericho would have to pass all these trials if he wanted to get his hands on MJF. Well, at Fyter Fest Night 2, it's the first trial, it's the first labor of Jericho. He will face Shawn Spears one-on-one in a match where Shawn Spears, the chairman, is allowed to use a steel chair, and Jericho is not.
Because I am the God of thunder, and I am the God of war, and AEW,
I asked to be first in the 5 labors of Jericho. If I beat Chris Jericho tomorrow night, I kill 2 birds with 1 stone. First and foremost, you don't get anywhere near MJF. You come nowhere near my boy. The second thing, Jericho falls, I single-handedly cut the legs out from the inner circle. So now, all the Pinnacle has to do is lean on them a little bit until they tip over.
The rivalry between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle has been bloody and it has been brutal. And Jericho is walking into this match injured. He is still feeling the effects from that blood and guts match on May 5th. He had the dislocated elbow, which we saw Spears and MJF target with the chair. Jericho, he wants to get his hands on MJF, but he has to beat Spears at Fyter Fest. I think this journey, the labors of Jericho, they might just end on Dynamite.
Predictions to this match between the chairman, Shawn Spears, and Chris Jericho. Shawn Spears gets to use a chair, Chris Jericho doesn't. The first match in the 5 labors of Jericho. Everybody can get lucky on any given night, is that right? If anything, sports has taught us that even the underdogs can come out on top at any time. So Chris does, and perhaps may stand a chance. Who knows? What I can promise is this. Chris, I know you're watching because you can't help it. So hear these words. Win, lose, or draw, you do not get to the second round in the 5 labors of Jericho. Do you understand me? It starts and it ends with me. There's no second round. There's no MJF. Tomorrow night, you're done.
What are your thoughts on Champion?
Our thoughts on the champion?
I did the work. I outworked everyone, and no one was along for the ride with me from day one.
She's a champion. She's a role model. She's the face of AEW Women's Division. She's the baddest bitch on the block. She's top of the rating. She's #1 seller in merch. You can't get any better than Dr. Britt Baker.
And do you know what 3 letters are going to elevate this company to a whole new stratosphere? D.
Baddest bitch on the block scored with that super kick.
M.
She's Pittsburgh's favorite.
D.
She knows what she's doing, guys. She is as shrewd as they come.
Your AEW Women's Champion.
It's still my time.
Don't worry about my well-being because I've dealt with multiple tables and ladders and chairs and thumbtacks. And you know what happened? The blood stopped, the wounds healed, and I came out the baddest bitch on the block. So if you think for 1 second you see fear in my eyes, you better look again.
Good thing you reminded me you're the baddest bitch on the block, because let me remind you what I do to bitches.
Nyla, all power though.
Too much power, too strong, too big.
In Britt Baker's AEW career, she has never been able to beat Nyla Rose.
And she's at the top of the food chain. But I'm off the menu because I'm special order and I'm in a league of my own.
there's got to be a point where something in the back of her mind says, even though I'm the AEW Women's World Champion, I've never actually beat my challenger.
But this isn't going anywhere except right back around my waist where it belongs.
Only the brave go fight. Shoot.
Baker, your whole life everything's been handed to you. Well, next week I'm gonna hand you an ass-whooping world class.
The power bomb through the table.
It's the nature of the beast.
Nyla Rose, the native beast? More like the doctor's little bitch.
Nyla Rose has been there before. Nyla Rose has been AEW Women's World Champion. She knows what it takes.
And with this, I'm the hottest thing in professional wrestling, but even without it, I'm still Dr. Britt Baker.
She's irrelevant.
Nyla is the only athlete to defeat Dr. Britt Baker in the year 2021 officially.
You can't deny that when I'm on your TV screen, your eyes are glued to me. You can't look away. And I promised you this would be the start of a whole new era. And damn, was I right.
When I win that championship back, my next steps are going to stay at the top of the women's division and take this company to new heights.
Cause we champions, game time.
Wrestle Kingdom 14 in Tokyo, Japan, January 4, 2020. And this was my first singles match in the Tokyo Dome, and it was for the IWGP US Championship. And John, who was challenging me for a title that, in essence, what he said, never lost, was in a Texas death match. We were in Tokyo, Japan, but we had a hell of a Texas death match. And he put me through a table, he got his ass up and stood up in the center of the ring. I was unable to do so. I've never had that rematch. It is my time. It is my time to have a rematch. This time I'm gonna make sure he doesn't get his ass up and I'm the one standing holding the IWGP US Championship. The IWGP US Championship for New Japan Pro Wrestling is probably one of the most important championships that I've ever held in my career. This was the very first major singles championship that I'd ever had. And John, who was somebody who held the title and held it for a long time, couldn't come to Tokyo, Japan when he was supposed to defend it. So I had an opportunity in front of me to become the US champion. It was me and Juice Robinson, and me and Juice Robinson stepped in the ring and we killed each other. And I became the champion. I fulfilled a destiny that I had always had to be a singles champion.
Never a doubt in my mind. Never a thought in his mind other than walking out as the winner.
Jake the Snake Roberts, one of the most influential icons in the business of professional wrestling. For him to be able to, on a daily basis, give me advice, help me both inside the ring, on the microphone, in every aspect of my professional career, has changed me in ways that I didn't even know was actually possible. And I'm gonna make sure that I make Jake the Snake Roberts proud, and we leave as the IWGP US champion.
I once said myself, one does not beat Lance Archer, one survives Lance Archer, and I survived him in Tokyo, and I survived Lance Archer in Jacksonville, and I realized something. He's never gonna stop. He's never gonna stop coming after me. He wants to take me out. He wants to end my career. Well, the way I look at it, I'll get them before they get me.
He's given a lot of people, from Kenta, who is one of the most influential fighters in all of Japan, Yuji Nagata, one of the biggest names in the history of Japanese wrestling, and now Carl Anderson. They made those challenges for that US Championship very special, but I'm not those guys. It's very difficult. It's almost damn near impossible to survive somebody 3 times in a row. And I'm coming into this match with a chip on my shoulder and ready to kill somebody. And if it's gotta be John, it's gonna be John.
The Texas Death Match is really a scary, scary match. It's no disqualifications, no countout, and it's 2 men that are perhaps the most violent men in AEW going to battle, and the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship is on the line. That just raises the stakes even further.
In my hometown, in my home state,
This makes it so damn special for me, you can't even truly understand. I'm going to have family and friends in that arena watching me do what I do and do what I do best.
Lance Archer has every tool imaginable. He's a monster. He's huge. He's got size, power, agility. He can fly, he can wrestle, he can brawl, he can do everything. And it's a terrifying package. Eventually, somebody's gonna take me out, and that man could damn well be Lance Archer.
This is a chance for me to make sure that when I leave that match, that I change everyone's mind, everyone's opinion, and that they understand that this is a new day. A new day for the Murderhawk Monster, a new day for AEW, and a new day for professional wrestling.
I am not the hunted, I am the hunter. There is only one boogeyman in New Japan Pro Wrestling and All Elite Wrestling, and it's Jon Moxley, the IWGP United States Champion.
I've had a lot of bumps in the road. It just makes me more angry and more driven to step back in that ring and to prove everyone, including myself, that I can, will, and always will be one of the strongest forces, one of the best big men to ever step in the ring in professional wrestling.
You want Texas Death 2? Lance Archer. Next week, you will be not only Texas born, Texas bred. Next week in Dallas, you are Texas dead.
In AEW, you're about to see a whole new bad mother that's gonna step in the ring.